Welcome to Logical Logistics with your host, Joe Becht. Logical Logistics is your source for news, information, and best practices for all things logistics. Please enjoy.
This is Logical Logistics, where we cover shipping, supply chain, logistics, and everything in between. Welcome to the show. Hey, this is Joe Becht. You're listening to Logical Logistics, and I'm going flying solo now. I'm going to do a recap of the Air Cargo 16, which took place last week in Phoenix. It was at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge in Phoenix. Great facility. I can't say enough about this hotel. If you want to go on a great vacation resort, go to the JW Marriott Phoenix Desert Ridge. Two quality, great 18-hole courses. I played the Palmer course before. That has more cacti on it. Yes, that's the plural of cactus, cacti. This time we played the Faldo course. I played it twice. I mistakenly, the first time I teed off at 3:30, thinking that as here in Chicago, the temperatures get cooler as the sun sets. Well, the temperatures actually got warmer, so the back nine got a little woozy there because it was 103 when I teed off, so it was probably about 105 when I finished my round of golf on the Faldo course. But it was only $29, so, you know, it was a deal, even though I almost died of heat exhaustion. Anyway, the official meeting, the official Air Cargo 2016 kicked off the next day with a golf outing at 7 a.m. Temperature was a little bit more playable at 85 degrees at 7 a.m. I had a great time. Had some great teammates. And after golf, we had the reception. I just wanted to say Brandon Freed from the Air Freight Forwarders Association, he's been a guest on the show a couple times. Above and beyond, just did a great job. Yeah, he just worked his butt off and just organized, well done. The exhibitor hall had was laid out extremely well, had a great agenda, great topics, speakers, not always the best, but he had them lined up, and when they didn't perform at their best, Brandon was there to moderate, to pick up the pace and get things going. So I just wanted to recap a little bit about what I saw at the Air Cargo 2016, and give you my review. After the golf tournament, there was a women's networking session, which I skipped for obvious reasons, but I heard some great feedback from some people that were there. They had a opening reception in the exhibitor hall. That was very nice. Got to meet some people, got to see the exhibits. The exhibits ranged from everyone from the competition, other freight forwarders, truckers, airlines, vendors, software companies. Out of all those vendors, just the most impressive was Southwest Airlines. Can't say enough about those guys. Really professional, enthusiastic. It was really their service in the industry shows, and it showed at the exhibit hall and out throughout the conference. Just so props to Southwest Airlines. Nice opening evening reception sponsored by Forward Air. Next day, we had a keynote speaker from the first one I attended was by Ray Thurston, former CEO of UPS Worldwide Logistics. He also started Sonic Air. Sonic Air was purchased by UPS, and those logistics commercials that you hear now for UPS, well, Ray is the guy that was behind the inception of that division. He had a great speech. It really moved me because he talked about how his hardships and how people can overcome hardships and achieve greatness. And he listed quite a few. I was really moved by the speech. Afterwards, I approached Ray, talked to him, told him I had a podcast, was met with a blank stare. I don't know if I freaked him out or if he knew what was going on. I don't know. Anyway, but did not get the response I wanted from Ray after his great speech, even though I told him I was really moved by it. But Ray, if by chance you are listening, I did give you my card and contact information. Would love to have you on the show. Would love to talk about your background. Part of his speech, he talked about drones, driverless trucks, Amazon. That was a big theme throughout the entire conference. Seems the majority of the people are really concerned about what Amazon and even Walmart is preparing to do in the shipping and logistics industry. There's talks about driverless trucks and drones, and that's what leads me to the next presentation that I went to. So after lunch, I went to the exhibitor hall again, met with a few more of the, specifically more of the database providers. Tried to get some interviews. I think I scared some people off. They didn't want to interview in person, but I did get some names. Hopefully we'll line up some guests from the attendees that I talked to at the exhibitor hall. The next presentation I went to were the Cutting Innovations Part 1, Drones and Driverless Trucks. It was a good presentation, but I still find it hard to believe, personally, that we are going to go in a situation with driverless trucks. The drone conversation was fairly interesting. I think the biggest part I came out with that was that the drones right now are scheduled to fly in airspace that is not regulated by the FAA. It will pose, it's going to really be interesting how this technology is going to be used. The driverless truck part, you heard it right. They're talking about trucks without drivers, and they would just go on a route on the highway. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. They're saying they test it, and it's going to be part of the supply chain. I believe there's other factors that could really impact trucking other than driverless trucks. We had a guest, Colin Clark, a few episodes ago with Green Ox pallets. I actually talked about Green Ox pallets to a few of the exhibitors, and there was quite a bit of interest. But I think that's more of a realistic alternative as far as to improving the carbon footprint and streamlining transportation in the industry. So the driverless trucks and drones, I don't know, not so much. Obviously, they are playing with the drones, and Amazon's in the forefront of that. The next presentation I went to was the Cutting Edge Freight Innovations Part 2, Delivery at Your Thumb, How Delivery-Based App Services Will Affect Your Business. It was presented by a gentleman from UShip, and unfortunately, the presentation to me appeared to be more of a commercial for UShip and not what actually delivery-based app services and the impact of the industry will be. So the talk was about UFreight. It was an advertisement for UFreight. I know there's app-based delivery services out there, applications that are being developed right now, and it's not primarily coming from the people that were at this conference, not from the logistics and cargo community, actually from the tech community in the Silicon Valley. There's one in particular who, again, I'm trying to get on. I met with them last year, and it's app-based, and they have a fantastic delivery matrix program that they utilize in the city of San Francisco, and I think that's where you're going to see the app-based services. That wasn't addressed in this conference. I was debating whether or not to bring that up, especially in light of the speaker talking about how Uber is making an impact in the industry, yet he didn't really say how, when in fact Uber is impacting the industry on a couple fronts, one being if owner-operators are having trouble finding employees because Uber is an alternative to drive and make a living. And also, there's companies that have app-based services that actually is an Uber-type service for delivering packages and freight. So none of that was touched upon. Again, it was a commercial for UShip. Was really disappointed in it. The next conference I went to was the TSA Review of Cargo Compliance Regulations. I'm not really going to go into it. The media was not allowed, so I'm not going to report on it. I would like to just say that there was a little bit of good information in there, and there was some other information that I think the presentation could have been better. But as far as specifics, there was some very valuable specifics in there, and if you're part of the shipping committee, you will be notified of the program. But I did attend the conference. I don't want to report on it specifically because I was asked not to, but I thought it could have been better. But once again, Brandon really, it had nothing to do with Brandon's organization. And Brandon, and I'm not just doing this to fluff up his ego or get on his good side. I'm just stating the facts. This guy really knows how to run a show. That evening, I skipped the Cargo Village session. The evening reception was a lot of fun. Blackjack tournament, a lot of fun. Another good event in the exhibitor hall. It was actually in another conference room at the exhibitor hall. Unfortunately, I had to depart the next day. Was not able to attend any of these sessions on Friday, June 10th. I heard really good things about the economic forecasts presentation. Do not have any specifics that I can go over, but it was very interesting information. If I come across any more of the information, of course, I will pass it along to you. Thanks for joining me. It's a recap for Air Cargo 16. Once again, thanks to Brandon Freed for putting together a great event. Great facility at the JW Marriott in Phoenix, Desert Ridge. And that's it. I'm going to leave you with a song from my favorite band of all time, Kiss. And it's called Hide Your Heart. The reason I chose it is because it is off the album Hot in the Shade. And yes, in Phoenix, it was hot in the shade. So for next time, this is Joe Becht, Logical Logistics. Welcome to the show. Thanks for enjoying the show.
Click the subscribe button for new videos every week and download us and review us on iTunes. Visit www.beslogistics.net for more logistics, transportation, and warehousing resources. Thanks for watching.